It's pretty cool. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about our Genesis series of downlights. We got some important announcements for those of you that are on a tight time constraint. The takeaway message from today's presentation, I'll just jump right to the end, is that our remodel products are now in stock. So like if you were just coming in to say what's new, that's what's new. But for the rest of us that want to hear what's going on, I'm happy to, we're going to dive into the program. So Lightline, we have 7 different families of downlights. Kind of amazing that we have that many different options. But Genesis is the rethinking and reconstruction of your straight up classic commercial downlight with your deep Alzac reflector. I've got a next slide here. And what we were trying to say about this is this is a best in class downlight. So what is that? It's not like the thing about downlights, 7 families of downlights. It's like, okay, what's your best downlight? And that's like trying to say, what's a better vehicle, a Lamborghini or a Toyota Corolla, a Camry, right? Like objectively, it depends what you're trying to do with it. If you're out the track, you're probably going to want a Lamborghini. If you are trying to get your 3 kids to school in the morning, a Camry is a much better choice than a Lamborghini. It's really hard to do carpool in a Lamborghini. I don't know from experience. Kind of wish I did, but I don't. But anyway, so the important point for Genesis as a downlight is the target feature for this product is when we want to do your traditional deep Alzac cone style downlight, but we want it to perform like an architectural downlight system. So a couple of key features on the construction of it is we've got an extruded aluminum heatsink, no magic there, but here's where the real magic comes in, optical chamber. So unlike a lot of our competition that's out there that simply mounts a heatsink to an LED chip to a heatsink and then puts a diffuser in front of it and then tries to use the lower optics to control your beam angle. We're using the same optics that we use in our Sigma series, the same optics that we use in our Luna series, a really high performance mirror reflectors to create this upper optical chamber that gets us some really tight beam angle control, field angle control, and extremely high performance for the light. We can hit up to 9,000 lumens delivered out of the fixture, not 9,000 source lumens. And every fixture is wet rated by default, because what we have is we have this chip at the top connected to the heatsink, optical chamber, and then a twist and lock diffuser, which is gasketed right at the bottom. So now you don't have to have a different fixture type for your outdoor locations, your drive-through hotel lobbies, your commercial showers, same fixture type throughout the entire installation, wet or dry. And then the lower chamber controls your cutoff angle. The upper chamber the upper optical chamber controls your beam angle. So you have different optical components working together to create a really high performance downlight, not simply, something that looks like a fluorescent downlight. And then the other neat feature on this is how we accommodate multiple ceiling thicknesses. We can go right from, hold on, we got an install video here that's going to be really neat. But the way it works is we've got these sliding bars. The heatsink slides over a set of bars at the top that's screw controlled from underneath. Super important, because in the past, what we would try to do is actually support the entire fixture, the entire chamber through pressure fit side clips on the side of the the spun aluminum reflector. But now that we've got 9,000 lumens, we got a big honking heatsink on the top, which creates a lot of weight. So it's important that we're actually mechanically supporting the top of the heatsink. That we're actually supporting it with a yoke bracket on top of the heatsink. And then we've got these screws underneath. By adjusting the screws, we can, the second part of this video where it kicks in here, is we can physically adjust the vertical height of the heatsink. So we drop it down. So what happens is when you install the fixture, you back off the screws, you drop the heatsink down, you attach the lower reflector, you push it back up, and then you tighten the screws back up again. So you're really sandwiching the ceiling material between the frame and the bottom of the trim. Because it's held in place with mechanical screws, it's never going to droop, drop, sag. I went to an airport the other day. I'd say 30% of the pot lights or 30% of the downlights were hanging out of the ceiling because they were trying to use some sort of pressure fit mechanism. Not going to happen. Super important on this fixture. It's available in 3 mounting types. We've had our new construction, so that's your flat pan with hanger bars and C-channel C-channel butterfly brackets. We've had those for about a year now, and this presentation about launching the remodel housing, which is now in stock and available. As a commercial fixture, we have tons of control options. Standard for this fixture is forward, reverse phase dimming, and 0 to 10, 120 through 277 is your standard control. You don't have to specify it separately. We have cold rated -40 start options. Lutron Ecosystems being discontinued, but we have Lutron T series, tunable white with dual 0 to 10, Kasambi options. It's available in white tuning on our Lightline on cloud performance, DALI 2.0 for white tuning, direct DMX control, Osram and Cilium, enlightened, and also emergency backup options. So really, it doesn't matter what your control system is, you can it's compatible with our Genesis program. So here's where it starts to get fun. This is a little quick chart that tells us what our options are. So for new construction, we've got round up to 8 inches. Squares are going to be launched early next year. Architectural bracket up to 8 inch. Remodel, we actually go right to a 10 inch. So if we're dealing with some of those existing installations, 10 inches is a great option. 4 different optical patterns we're going to talk about in a minute. It's available in 500 lumen package increments up to 4,000, and then 1,000 lumen package after that. We can really do 500 increments, but like the chart gets kind of unwieldy at that point, so we just summarized it after that point. So things that are really important about this program, it's right across the whole thing, is the photometry is it's just excellent. So for those of you that are familiar with TM30, it's a P2 F3 light performance. So that's like your second highest grading on preference. So it shows skin tones really well, it shows food really well. And then F3 is as good as it possibly gets for measuring against the reference light source. So that's our TM30 vector diagram graphic in the corner. So it's effectively a 90 CRI, 97% saturation, and just bang on the black body curve right through the entire performance cycle. So no shifting of color or this color distortion, really, really high performance beam angles and high performance color out of what's, a commercially priced downlight with a ton of control options. Available 27 to 5,000 K, white tuning options, a whole bunch of different trim finishes. The trims are self-flanged throughout the process, and you can do your semi-specular on the trim flange, or like a white trim flange, however you want it. And then again, 4 options. Set carries a 7-year warranty, default wet location, IP66 rated, and Energy Star. Same thing again for the 6-inch and 8-inch. Then the 10-inch is only available in remodel. We're not doing new construction for 10-inch because why would you? If you're doing new construction, why not go down to an 8-inch size, considering you're getting exactly the same light performance out of it? It's not like we can get more light out of the 10-inch. So the 10-inch is sort of a service item for retrofit applications. This is it's kind of funny. I was about to say I'm a huge nerd. We've sort of taken back the word nerd. It was really funny. So my kid was, I drove carpool the other day, not in a Lamborghini, but I drove carpool the other day, and I heard the kids calling each other nerds in the background. And then one of them stops. They're in grade 5, by the way. One of them stops and says, "What does a nerd mean?" And my son pipes up. He says, "I think nerd is when you're like smart, but not in a good way. I don't know." Anyway, and then they moved on because it was great. They were kids. They weren't too worried about it. But me being a nerd, which is smart but not in a good way, is I love this layout guide. It's on page 4 of all the data sheets for it. So, the problem is you've got what do we have to, like 14 different lumen packages and 4 different beam angles. So the question, like, really quickly becomes, I'm doing a lighting layout. What's my spacing going to be? And like, you're dealing with like 30, 40 different IES files in the package. It takes a lot of time. So what we did was we summarized how to do super quick lighting layout. It's really neat. So step 1 is you figure out your mounting height. So let's say if you don't know your mounting height, you've got bigger problems than the lighting layout. But for example, we have a mounting height at 18 feet. So we're going to start across here. And then we have an option. We have a spot beam performance will give us a fixture spacing. So that's no overlap out of, call it 5-foot spacing. 2,000 lumens is going to give you 32-foot candle. Here, I don't think you guys can see my screen here. 2,000 lumens is going to give you 32-foot candles. 2,500 lumens gives you 40, and 3,000 lumens gives you 48-foot candles at 5-foot spacing. As we move along the line, we can go to a narrow. That's going to give you 8-foot spacing. We can kind of sort of round up to the next line. So we're going to do just less than 17-foot candles, 26-foot candles, 35-foot candles, or 44-foot candles at 8-foot spacing. So you kind of just round that down by about 20% in your head. Or we can go to a medium beam angle, which is kind of the default for these types of fixtures. And we know that at 18-foot mounting height, 12-foot spacing, we're going to 4,000 lumens gives us 26-foot candles, 6,000 lumens gives us 39-foot candles. Or if we're kind of way out there, we can push this thing right to 18-foot fixture spacing. 9,000 lumens gives us 34-foot candles with a wide beam angle. So now you know, like, hey, when we're doing our lighting layouts and our lighting calcs, figure out your mounting height, figure out what you want what your target luminance levels are, and then you can figure out what your beam angle and fixture spacing is going to be right off the bat. Take it, plug it into AGI or Dialux or whatever tool you're using right off the bat, and it just saves a ton of time. Or if we're not even at the layout stage, we're just doing budgeting or preliminary costing out on a project, and you're trying to figure out what your fixture counts are going to be. It takes like 5 seconds to look at the table, and then you can run that right across. So this is available on all of, it's not even a special sheet. It's right on page 4 of all of our data sheets on the Genesis program. Some key dates, 6-inch, 8. So our new construction been in stock for a year. We're quick ship on nearly everything. And then remodels, 6, 8, and 10 are in stock. 4-inch, it's a bit of a straggler coming in Q2 23. So that brings us to the end. I'm bang on 15 minutes for quick product update. Any questions, please submit them in the chat or in the chat there.
Thanks so much, Dan. That was great. Just got a question into the Q&A.
Is Chicago Plenum available up to 9,000 lumens? Unfortunately, Chicago Plenum is not available up to 9,000 lumens. Chicago Plenum takes we have to go back to, which slide is it on, Laura? I know it's, oh,
right.
No, Chicago. Oh, I don't know the answer to that question. Type IC is up to 3,000 lumens. Ashvin, do you know if Chicago Plenum is what our options are for Chicago Plenum?
I think we can have it up to 9,000. Doesn't matter. Just
the whole fixture Chicago Plenum.
Yeah.
You want to just double check that and get back to us, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Tom, IP66 is standard on every fixture. The entire fixture is IP6 is wet location IP66 top to bottom. It's not a special feature. It's just part of the standard construction. Is there a wall wash option? There will be a wall wash option. It's not currently released, but that is, I believe, first quarter is we're doing a wall wash option for all of these. No open question. So Shane, if you could just take the individual who asked that question about the Chicago Plenum and get back to them. Dead front trims. Sure. Okay. No, unfortunately, the fixtures are not dead front. My understanding of dead front is that it's only required in situations where you could potentially come in contact with the fixture. These, I think, would be typically installed in applications with higher ceilings than you would be able to physically contact. I could be wrong, and it changes by jurisdiction. We do have other dead front options in the 2,000 lumen in some of our other product families. So the Sky is available in a 6-inch, which is dead front. The 6-inch goes right up to, I think, 2,200 lumens. So for a lower ceiling type, we were going for that. It's also IP66 rated, dead front with a bunch of cool trim options. So yeah, so I would point you in the direction of the Sky 6-inch for those lower ceiling applications. Amy asks, is there a 3-inch and square in the future? Square in the immediate future, it's in production right now, or I think the tooling's in production, and then delivery a few months after that. And 3-inch is not on the design plan for Genesis. For Genesis, we're really trying to hit those high, it really performs in the higher lumen packages. For 3-inch, I would point you towards our Sigma series, our Luna series, the Sky series in a few applications, and the Helio series is where I would point for a architectural type application for 3-inch. They have more features, adjustability, filters, media, and those types of features, a lot more control and more architectural oriented product, particularly our Helios family. The Genesis is really targeted towards, commercial institutional spaces. And once again, performs that super high lumen package. Once you start shrinking down the aperture, it gets a lot harder to really crank those 9,000 lumens out of it. No other questions. All right, I'm going to stay on for another minute or two and kind of talk to myself, maybe talk to Laura a bit. If anything else pops up, then feel free to drop it in the chat. Otherwise, thanks, guys. As always, this presentation is available. Reach out to our marketing team at Lightline. Any other questions, please reach out to your regional manager or your agent. And we look forward to supporting you guys with these projects. So thanks very much. I really do appreciate the time.